Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Stuff and Things podcast. I am Sam. That music can mean only one thing. We're talking Secret Invasion again. Last week, Stefan was ill. Episode 1, Kaylee was ill. I am here. I'm not feeling very well, but I am here. I jinxed myself last week joking about it, and now I've got horrible cold, so my voice keeps going. So apologies in advance for that. But luckily, we have two people with me, starting with Stefan.
Hey, buddy. I just want to jinx it that, I haven't won the lottery before. So if that could happen before next week, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, well, we're for shot. And joining us is the Marvel sometimes watches it occasionally, but kind of a fan, Kaylee.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Penny said hello then as well.
Oh, good. That's all right then. That's as long as everyone's involved. That's the main
Penny
thing.
Yeah.
We have Marvel Secret Invasion Episode 3. Title of the episode was, Stefan?
Betrayed.
Correctamundo. I mentioned this in our group chat yesterday. This is the shortest episode so far. Episode 1 was 54 minutes, runtime 257. Episode 3, 43 minutes. Kaylee, I'll start with you. Did you find that noticeable at all?
No. Well, I don't know. I would have happily have carried on watching.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that I was too hard done by. But...
You didn't feel cheated? No. Stefan, did you find it noticeable?
Not particularly. I know I said in our group chat about length of times, I prefer, like this episode, it was 43 minutes long and the whole way through, good content. I much prefer that to something where they decide, right, every episode must be 59 minutes long. We've got to add 5 minutes worth of random slow-mo and meaningless conversation and scenery shots. So I'm quite happy. I don't mind if they bounce around time-wise, as long as it's good quality each episode. I'm not too fussed if it bounces around.
So you felt episode 1 and 2 had a lot of crap that could be cut out?
No. Luckily not. No, I remember we did the Lord of the Rings show on.
But we're talking
Amazon,
about we're talking about Secret Invasion.
That had a lot of filler in it. This far, no.
Yeah.
I've not had too much filler, but I was just saying, I don't mind the different lengths of episodes as long as the content is good. And so far, this has been 3 very good episodes. However, if they do drop it into the 30 minutes, I will start getting a little bit peeved.
Yeah, but if the content's good, you won't mind. You just said.
No, I'd want more. So you can't do it too short. If episode 6 comes out at 25 minutes, I don't care how good it is, I'm going to be pissed. I want it longer. My name is Stefan. I'm a hypocrite. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I felt like that was question time then. I was having fun with that. No, sir. Answer the question. Stay on point. Okay, so this episode for me, although it was the shorter runtime, had a lot in it. That I think I said to you, after each episode so far, I've watched it first and I've done a reaction in our chat. And you've both been like, ooh, that's interesting reaction. And then both later on you've watched it and gone, oh, shit, yeah, I see why you said that. I kind of said to both of you, this episode had me reeling a little bit. I was kind of afterwards trying to process a few things that happened.
Yes.
Kaylee, starting with you, how did you feel, in general terms, at the end of the episode? What was your feeling?
Well, this was the best episode for me so far.
Okay.
And I have concerns about the fact we've only got 3 episodes left. I'm just putting that out there
halfway
now.
point.
but it's and I find this is really common with it, all the Marvel series that we watch and we cover.
Yeah.
Is you get to the kind of middle point and the backstories are just kind of starting to develop and you're just starting to kind of really get into the kind of crux of the characters again.
Yeah.
And then they think, shit, we've got 3, 4, 5, a finite amount of time to bring this story to a close. And you lose
like
kind of some of that. Yeah. But provided that, as Stefan said, we don't have 3 25-minute episodes, I'm sure that they can do it. And I'm excited to see what comes. But I really enjoyed this one because it wasn't quite so flashbang, wallop, all these things going on. It was a bit slower paced, but I really enjoyed it. When we did have the kind of action shots, they were meaningful and well done and brought something to the story. There was no kind of gratuitous Marvel flashbang wallop stuff. So overall loved it, best one yet. Not happy with the ending, but we'll get to that.
I didn't feel it was slower paced, but I wonder if because it was a shorter episode I didn't notice that. Stefan, what do you think?
So I actually saw a tweet that I thought was brilliant, and it's like the build up. We've had 3 episodes of build up so far.
Yeah.
And the end moment in this episode, as Kay said, we'll talk about more later. I feel like that's the tipping point, so that now the next 3 episodes are just going to be all out carnage once they find out what happened at the end of the episode. And so therefore we've had 3 episodes of build up. We've now going to have 3 episodes of conclusion.
Yeah.
And I think Marvel have done that really well, because I was just starting to kind of, I'm really enjoying the show, but I was just starting to get towards the, come on, something happened. Come on, something really? Big happened. And then it did. At the end of the episode, obviously, something big happened. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going to really kind of kickstart.
Were you really feeling that in episode 1 and 2? You didn't feel like anything big had happened?
So episode 1, obviously, we had the big, like, the explosions and Maria Hill died.
Yeah.
And I was sat there like, oh, they are going all out from the first episode. Here we go. And then episode 2, we kind of got a lot of like backstorying and build up. And then this episode seemed to kind of raise the stakes a little bit, but it still felt like it was build up to something. And I think what happened at the end of this episode is going to be that tipping point that now turns Talos' character, and I think is going to make it a lot more. The last 3 episodes, we're just going to be sat there like mouth open going, oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't feel I felt that with episode 2. I kind of felt like each episode's been sort of quite strong and sort of plenty's been happening. I've not sort of felt the, come on, do something, poking it with a stick. The meme. Okay, so the episode opens with Gravik laying out his super Skrull plan to the Skrull Council. This is what pretty much everyone had pieced together in episode 2, with all the scenes with the lab where Guy had broken in, etc. But he literally spells it out at the start of this episode. This is what I'm doing.
Just in case anyone didn't get the Easter eggs in the last episode.
Yeah, just for anyone who didn't pick up on this, here we go. So he laid that out. We then have a flashback to New York, 1998, and Fury is there flirting with a lady who is a Skrull, who is the Lady Skrull, who is his wife that we see later on.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that, because I said to you, I had a really dark theory after the end of episode 2, I'm so glad it's not true.
Right, so go on. You do your dark theory just so everybody knows it.
My dark theory was, there was that whole debate of does Nick know she's a Skrull or not?
Yeah, we discussed that last week.
Yeah, my theory that I had in my head was actually Nick Fury was married. However, she had passed away and this Skrull had kind of replaced her and was using her face to kind of help Nick, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, but for some reason, that's what I was like, oh my god, so he knows that she's a Skrull, but actually she's still being his wife. And then this episode starts in 1997 and we meet this young
98.
Skrull, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah. So it did answer that question. Did either of you pick up the Black Widow mention?
Yes.
Go on, Kaylee,
No.
run with it. You educate people.
Well, I'm in two minds about this. It could just be a nod. You know, she talks about Dreykov, who, if we get to see Ray Winston's hilarious accent again, will just make my day.
Not. Please
No,
because
please
it's
no,
so
please no.
ridiculous.
No.
Or is it a way? Are we gonna? You see all of the human entities in the pods. We see some of them that we know the Prime Minister's there and the TV guy. Are we going to see somebody from Black Widow's past in there? Is it just a way to kind of bring the story back around?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know. But
I felt perhaps it was a nod to how he got her out of that. Because you remember, I think she says to him, like, there's enough information on Dreykov there or something. And you remember Natasha got out by trying to kill him.
Yeah, so it kind of ties that up quite nicely, which is kind of where I hope that they leave it.
Yeah.
But we know what these guys do. We know what the Marvel are like for the kind of shock factor. So I don't know, but I did pick up on it because as soon as they said it, I instantly had this visual of Ray Winston strolling through and giving us that accent.
Oh, God, please no. I don't think I could handle that. That'd hurt me too much. We then come back to the present where his wife there's quite a strong interaction between them. I'm going to enjoy getting both of your takes on this. Kaylee, I'm going to start with you. His wife says to him, like, I mourned you. I cried on your pillow for the 5 years you were gone. You miraculously came back. I thought we were going to heal together, and you left. And she refers to herself as a widow. Now, interestingly, like last week, he walked through the door like they were besties, put his ring back on, they hugged and kissed. This is the following morning, I'm guessing. It seems like the initial reaction of "it's so great to see you" was then followed by "but where have you been, you jackass?" What did you think about the interaction? What are your thoughts?
Well, she's a much bigger woman than I am because I wouldn't have been quite so calm. I would have absolutely lost my shit and he would have been torn a new one, quite frankly. I think she
I know her. I can attest to this. Yes.
She was hurt. She was really, really hurt. You could see that. Yeah. And I think that calm reaction, not scared is the wrong word, but kind of made him stop and think, oh yeah, I was selfish, which you don't really see the emotion from Fury at any point, which is why I liked this episode because we got to see more of that, you know. There
was a few times I agree,
and you know, she talks about being a widow and he basically buggered off to Sabre because he didn't put his big girl pants on and deal with everything that had happened at home. Which actually is the first time we've really got that, because you just imagine him going off and being the hero and trying to do the right thing and do all of this stuff, when actually he was just being a bit of a wimp by running away.
Yeah. I mean, you certainly go there. Another way, another point.
Another way.
I kind of, your point of view is this is a superhero genre, and and he is Nick Fury. He's Fury. He's the one, you know, the Avengers, the spy, the ultimate guy in charge, knows everything. And in this, he's not. He's humbled. He's broken. The blip messed him up. And I just kind of, there's actually quite an interesting mental health aspect that could be explored via his character, and in particular men's mental health, where we're expected to be ridiculously strong, in command, in charge, be able to cope with everything, put on our big girl pants, as you put it, but sometimes we break. And the world doesn't accept it as much for men. Just putting that out there, because I'm a man. And I felt I should say it. I'm going to get hate.
No, it's a very valid point.
Stefan, over to you, sir. You better run with this in a different direction, because right now I'm the hated one. Talk about how you pronounce Star Wars stuff for a minute.
Yeah, let me just pronounce every name wrong. No, yeah, it was an interesting, because if we are going with the whole idea of this is just the next day, then he's walked back into that house after, 5-7 years or so of disappearing. His wife has admitted, I took myself as a widow, I've moved on, I've found myself and all this sort of thing. She says a line about, I knew I was under no false pretense when we got together, you were always going to have to go away and do things. It was the not coming back that was the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't see how when he walked in the front door, he didn't get like a plate thrown at him or something, It was a very kind of loving, back together, you forgot to put your ring on sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I think it would have been more, personally, I thought it would have been more the other way around. It would have been the having a go at him that night, and then the next morning, you're actually back.
Yeah, I kind of equated it to the lost child syndrome, where your child's run off in the supermarket and you can't find them. You've gone through absolute terror and panic. You've seen every news headline in your brain. It's only been 30 seconds, by the way. Yeah. And then they reappear magically and you hug them so tight, like, I thought you were dead. Then you shake them like you're going to kill them because they ran off. Like, you little son of a... So I kind of equated it like that. She's not seen this guy in a long time. They have obviously been in contact via, I think they've obviously had some contact. And I think it was
because the way she goes on about being a widow and stuff.
No, but I think he says, she says you were up on your space station and stuff, so it's not like he was keeping her out of the loop and she didn't know where he was. He walked through the door with keys, the locks hadn't been changed. I know people who've stayed away for one night and their locks have been changed. Happy days. So that was interesting to me. I think that scene had a lot in it. From Fury's mental state, once again proving the state he's in. But there's something else that happens in the scene where he mentions if she's spoken to Gravik, she says, "Why do you ask?" It would appear that she is the Skrull that first introduced Gravik to Nick in the flashback we saw in a previous episode. So there's obviously a relationship she has with Gravik since he was a young child.
Yeah. No, I don't trust her. Like, from this interaction in the kitchen when they're talking, and she goes on the whole defence is the best form of attack sort of thing. Well, why are you asking me? What are you trying to say? As soon as she did that, I was like, wait a minute.
He talks about retirement and he's going to take up revenge because he's no good at golf, which is ironic because Samuel L. Jackson loves golf.
Yes.
So there's two parts to this which I find interesting. I'm going to bring you both in. So, Stefan, you just touched on the not trusting her, feels she's a bit Team Gravik in there. She takes that phone call, a bit shady. But there's an aspect to this which, again, I could be overthinking. So, Kaylee, I love your opinion. Nick Fury is the spy. Everybody knows that. She takes that call and leaves the phone there and walks off. He looks at it, it's deliberate. It's a shot of him just staring at the phone. Later in the episode, when he meets Talos, he says, "I've got a lead on a Skrull high up in the US government." Later, when she takes another phone call, we find out that that person she's talking to is Rhodey. Do you think that she is Team Nick, or is she Team Gravik?
No, I think we are supposed to believe that she is a double agent.
Yeah.
So she's Team Gravik.
Yeah.
But I think that
she's a triple agent.
She's exactly what I've written, because Fury, after that interaction and seeing that and her leaving the phone, he would have picked up that phone. If he was genuinely suspicious, he would have picked up that phone. But he didn't. So he knows that she's in contact with him for other reasons. And he knows full well who that phone call was and what it was about, for the most part. Triple agent is exactly what I've written here.
Well, that's where my head went. Stefan, what about you?
See, I know. See, I'm still of the belief that the roadie we saw in the last episode wasn't him.
You think
100%.
you think Rhodey's a Skrull?
Yeah, I still don't think that was him.
That's kind of what we just said.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with that in mind as well. So if he's a Skrull, and I don't know, there's something about his wife I don't trust, and I don't know if it's because, like Kaylee said, they're trying to make it a bit of a deliberate don't trust this person. So then at the end, when she comes good, everyone goes, damn, didn't see that happening. Or if it is just my instinct kicking in going, no, there's something not quite there.
I think
that is the person that he referenced about, high up in the government and whatnot. That was the commander. That was the Navy guy.
No, he says U.S. government.
Yeah. And that the guy that he went to see
was British. Was it? Yeah, Bob's British Navy. It was two separate things.
Because he was in Scotland, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He goes down to Portsmouth, doesn't he? And he goes up there, and
it's all a quick drive around our country. The Americans have believed that, whereas the rest of us are going, he'll be sat in traffic for 9 hours. No way he got there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
especially through Portsmouth. It's a bloody nightmare.
Freaking nightmare. You get it a one-way system. Anyway, so we move on quickly before I complain about traffic, and then I'll discuss the weather. I've got various scenes, and all I've done is bullet point them because I thought, wow, this scene was good, and then the next scene will happen, I'll be like, oh wow, this scene. So the next one I've got is Gravik wakes up Gaia, and you can tell she's proper woken up. I want to sort of hand this to the actress here because I wonder if she actually nodded off for this scene. Because she did My Eyes Are All Over the Place, I don't know what year it is, brilliantly. I was so convinced that she genuinely just got woken up to act that scene. Like, what? Hello? Am I filming? Is this Game of Thrones? She had that real look of bewilderment, which I love. It
can't have been Game of Thrones. She was fully dressed.
Yes, true. Yeah, boom. Yeah, only season 1 and 2. After that, she had a body double. She made a proper money by then. But yeah, the scene he basically says, in my opinion, he basically says, "We've got a mole. Better not be you."
Yeah, pretty much. It's a very kind of passive aggressive threat, isn't it? Like, I'm pretty sure it's you, but let's hope it's not.
I'm not entirely sure it was that passive.
No,
she had a very good game face, though, didn't she? When she said, "Oh, it's Devonson. They've obviously got to him. I wouldn't have done that."
Yeah, it was the.
But then she drops the line about how I'm a fantastic liar, and I'm like, "That's not helped yourself out, has it, love?" Was it you? Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't me. You can trust me because I'm a great liar. What?
Yeah, that always goes down well on a first date.
Yeah. Okay.
Gravik and Talos have a meeting. Gravik makes Gaia drive him. We have a Will Smith moment where Talos makes it abundantly clear he should keep his daughter's name out of his mouth rather than wife. So there's several aspects to this. First of all, the interaction in the gallery. I know you're supposed to not like him. I'm kind of loving Gravik. The actor's doing an amazing job. Because not so much of like, I completely understand where he's coming from, but we've got that. We can understand his grievance. But just I like the fact that it's not just mindless. He looks at that painting of like the World War One, and he's right. Look at this. All the generals, all the leaders posing together. All the soldiers are the ones doing the dying, and it was just I kind of like that. A 30-second couple of lines, but it just adds to he's not an idiot. This is someone who's trying to look at this through like a different lens, a big picture, and this is the conclusion he's come to. We then have the scene where they're sitting down. So, Stefan, I'll start with you. What did you think about the interaction between these two, the kind of the new general, the old general, and also what were your thoughts on that scene where Talos grabs him, and it's the scene in the trailer where everyone around him is a
Yeah,
Skrull.
that's cool. Like, just as a pure visual thing, that was damn cool. Like, the entire room, even the waitress, everyone is a Skrull. It's just like, bang, okay, I'm outnumbered. However, I also love the fact that even though Talos isn't the main general anymore, there's still he's got that air of authority.
Yeah.
And as much as Gravik is like, I'm the new guy here, you know, he jumps up, puts a knife through his hand and strangles him. Yet still no one, they stood up and it all turned into Gravik to kind of say, look, we're here. But no one jumped in to save Gravik.
No.
And Gravik still had that kind of look on his face as like, you know, almost like being told off by your dad.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like, no, like, I know what I'm doing, I know I'm right, but your dad says, well, actually, no, you're a bit of a muppet. And you still kind of have that look in your eyes like, oh, I just wanted you to agree with me. Oh. You know, and it had that kind of a feel, this scene, I thought. He kind of wants Talos to understand and agree what he's saying and see that, no, look, I am right.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like he was almost trying to get like the approval and make him realise what I'm doing is right.
Okay, I hadn't really thought of it like that, but yeah, you could be right. Kaylee, what were your thoughts?
Very much the same, actually. It's almost, again, visually brilliant, but seeing all of the graphics together kind of shows him as almost a bit vulnerable. Maybe vulnerable is the wrong word. Maybe naive, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, if he truly believed that he was the big I am, he wouldn't need to take that back up with him. You know, he'd be that cocky about it that he would just kind of go alone. But at the same time, him kind of looking for that, not approval, again, it's having that kind of paddy with your parents, like Stefan says. You know, just give me the approval. There's something sinister because he's so calm, so kind of on the level. And that's what I really like.
Yeah.
I
Same.
did notice, and I might have just imagined this, but at points, he sounded ever so Welsh. He was talking.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if he's doing it deliberately, but I like to think he is. But every now and again, his accent slips.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just something that I know. I love the Welsh accent, by the way, best accent ever.
Oh, it's really not. Don't say that.
Oh, it is. But no, I thought it was really good. It was really good. And the way that you've described it is that kind of parent-child relationship, because that's what they would have had. Really, you know.
And of course, we have it revealed that he did make an offer to Talos. He did say, "Let's do it together."
Yeah.
And Talos turned him down.
And I think that again, that's the naivety of a young person thinking they can take on the world, whereas Talos is worldly. He's experienced. You know, he's been through this stuff before.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about making a sensible choice.
Well, one of the things we know is coming because of the previous episode and the start of this one is Super Skrulls, where we know that they're going to be getting enhanced. Yeah. I didn't think that had happened yet. However, you know, Gravik once again mentions Gaia, and Talos stabs him through the hand and walks off.
See, now, until we see him use the extremis to heal his hand up, I was on the thought process of, okay, as we know they can all shapeshift, is he actually sat in front of Gravik, or is he one of the other people in the room for a safety thing?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where my mind was at. And then when we see him use it to kind of heal his hand back up and shrug it off, that's when I was like, oh, this guy's serious. Like, he means work. Okay.
Yeah. So that was for me, that was quite a moment in the episode. I was like, oh, shit, he is extremis, which, you know, as we know from Iron Man 3, they kind of enhance strength, durability, and that healing.
Yeah.
And some pretty intense heat. So, yeah.
But I think that was done really well, because I think they really could have dragged that element out quite a lot. And I think that would have just been, I wouldn't have cared about that so much. Okay. But it was a really kind of subtle way to kind of move it along. You know, he's making progress. It's moving at pace. this is where we start to think, oh shit, something's coming,
Well, it's
and
kind
it's
of
going to
like
happen quickly.
it's kind of like this is why he's now ready to launch his attack. He
Yeah.
now feels ready to deal with the Avengers if they come.
I love the fact as well that the Avengers keep getting mentioned.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
we saw in the trailer that, Fury gets asked, why don't you get your special friends? He's like, no, this is personal. This is my fight. But everyone keeps mentioning the Avengers. Now, I don't know if are they setting this up for a little cameo in the last couple of episodes, or...
Wow.
I don't like. I'm not expecting all of the Avengers to burst on the screen, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I am wondering if maybe we're going to get someone that a noticeable character.
War Machine.
Well, potentially if the real Rhodey kind of comes through, or
Well, maybe it is the real Rhodey. We don't know.
then it's just an ass.
I think it would be
without
great
Tony.
though. All of them rocking up at the end.
Yeah.
That would make my day. But
then at the same
certainly
time-
shock a few people.
At the same time, I was then thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, the Avengers. Oh wait, who's actually left?
Well, there's that.
If we were going to go for like the original 6 Avengers, you've got
Well,
what?
Thor.
2? Thor's off planet with his daughter, not daughter, Love and
Yeah.
Thunder. They're off planet doing their own thing. Obviously, Tony is not there anymore.
Well, perhaps this is how we introduce the young Avengers.
Now you're on my. That's where I was going to go. Is this where actually we're going to get
Get to see
Kate Bishop
Kate
and stuff?
Bishop.
Are they going to appear at the end as and this is how they're going to introduce the young Avengers, because
Yeah.
everyone keeps talking about the Avengers.
I personally don't think so. I think the only person we might see, maybe, and I mean this is like throwing a thing, would be Captain Marvel. I think that is a maybe. Monica Rambeau possibly far more likely.
Just to lead it and match it into the Marvels film.
Yeah, I mean the Marvel's trailer shows Fury on Sabre working with Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
How they link up and how that becomes a thing could be heavily linked to the end of it. I mean, I don't know.
Episode 6, yeah.
question.
Yes, good question.
The pods that keeps the
Yeah,
human
yeah.
bodies as the hosts. What happens if those pods fail?
I honestly don't know. It's a good question, well structured. Do the people get released or are they dead?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think I was always working under the assumption they were, they were cryogenically frozen type malarkey, but we see that actually you can still access their brains and whatnot. If they failed, would they come back and there would be automatically 2 of them? If so, have they got some Avengers stashed away somewhere? Or would the Skrull who's taken their form lose it?
No.
And they all get kind of exposed?
No, I don't think so. I think the reason why they're putting them in the pods is to, one, take them out of society to enable the Skrull to become them. But rather than just killing them to do that, by putting them in these pods, they are able to better sim them, learn everything about them,
Their
have
memories
all
and
the
everything,
information.
yeah.
Because I remember from Captain Marvel, they were like, oh, they can sim you down to your DNA, but you can ask them these questions and normally catch them out. Whereas I think using these pods and doing that, they are basically able to answer any question from this person's life because they have all of their memories.
Yeah.
So what happens if the other one wakes up?
I guess there's
I
them
don't
too.
Yeah.
Talking of good fun questions, actually, just very quickly, I'm going to jump on to our Discord. Ryan asked a question on last week's episode, and I think it still falls into it. So their shape-shifting abilities,
Yeah.
and as we saw, like they changed their clothes, their face, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his question is, the Skrull that got interrogated in the last episode, when you first see him transform into the man, he mirrors into the exact same image with the hat, overshirt, jacket, everything. When being interrogated, his shirt and hat are removed and he's left in just a vest. How do Skrulls do clothing?
I think someone really handsome and smart already answered him on Discord.
Wait there, let me scroll down. Did you answer him?
Yeah.
Wait there. A Skrull can shapeshift down to the DNA, so they can also manipulate fabrics they're wearing. But if they are wearing an overshirt, humans can take that off them.
So basically,
Yeah.
from what I read, again, this was by the help of Google and Marvel Wiki, is basically if a Skrull is wearing an item of clothing, they have the ability to use their skill to adapt that, to change that as well by changing the molecular structure of it. So let's say I'm wearing a shirt and I turn it into 5 different layers of different clothing. If someone's taken it off, you're just taking away the fabric that I was already wearing that I've manipulated. Now, in theory, once you do that, and let's say you set fire to it, it would revert back to its usual state, because, like, shooting a Skrull and killing it, it reverts.
Yeah.
But you're not seeing that. And I think you can go down a rabbit hole with this.
God, couldn't you? Just, yeah. How does a Skrull take off underwear if they weren't wearing any when they try? Yeah, no, there's a whole rabbit hole that could go down this one.
The fact people are focusing on that worries me.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
So picking up on the next scene that I enjoyed is Fury and Talos in a pub.
Yep.
Again, these two absolute 30-year best friends. They fell out.
Don't you believe it?
Yeah. They fell out, and now, he's eating his breakfast. Oh, he put me off my food. Only you could walk in here after what you said to me yesterday. Love that. And
it's also the typical two blokes of, yeah, I'll help you, and I'll always help you, and I've always got your back. But go on, tell me you need me. Go on, say it.
Just really make your bastard mate grovel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also really loved the car conversation between the two, because it kind of confirmed what we discussed last week and the week before, which is the Skrulls have been helping. The Skrulls are the reason Fury was Fury.
Yeah, Fury weren't shit without them.
Yeah, Talos kind of reminds him in a kind of tongue-in-cheek way, and I got to respect him for that. He's like, I'm not even after a thank you, mate. I'm just saying, don't rewrite history. It kind of opened an interesting thing I saw online, so I'm going to put it to both of you. The car scene was great, and that conversation about rewriting history, however, has prompted a number of people to go, that's not Nick Fury.
Oh?
So when this show was first being promoted, the showrunner said during the 6 episodes there will be a Skrull reveal, and that reveal is going to break everyone's hearts. And a theory online going around right now is the reason why this revisionist history exists with this particular Nick Fury is because the real Nick Fury died in that Captain America film, The Winter Soldier, when he was assassinated, and they replaced him with a Skrull to keep everything going. That's the theory that's going around. Ooh. And even Talos doesn't know.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's too far-fetched, personally, but I did like the sync-up people have done with that scene where he's like, you're sat next to me, don't try and rewrite the history we wrote together. It could easily just be two best friends bickering, which I liked, because when he's like, why have you stopped? Because we're here to deal with Bob. Remember Bob? The two of them going at each other is brilliant.
Yeah, see, for me, it kind of reminded me of, again, like two old mates that, play football together, and, I scored this incredible hat-trick, and the kids next to him going, no, you didn't. You're telling me you scored 3 overhead kicks, whereas actually you fell over and the ball bounced off your ass, mate. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, but don't do it when I'm sat next to you and I was there.
Yeah.
So, and I've had that many times in my life with people I know and stuff that have told me a story, and I'm like, no, wait a minute, I was there. Have you forgotten that I was there? I watched the whole thing. So I kind of got that kind of vibe from it. But now you've said that. I don't know. What do you reckon, Kaylee? Do you reckon Nick's a Skrull, or?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
No, I know. No.
It would be a very, very sad end to that character if all of a sudden we're confronted with he's actually dead and been dead a long time. and
I mean,
the constant shots of his gravestone have been very relevant.
yeah, I don't like, no.
I can't think of anyone else, especially not in this show, that would be a reveal that would kind of be heartbreaking, like Marvel has said.
Yeah, I do.
That would give you that, yeah.
I do want to add though that much like with their trailers, Marvel people building stuff up are bastards. I mean that in the nicest way, as in like, oh, in this show, yeah, when everybody dies, it's going to be rough, but you know, we'll get through it together. And you're kind of like, what? And then you get to the end, and they're like, told you, messing with you.
On the flip side of it, though, how good of a feeling would it be to know that you are so important to the outcome of something that when you die, somebody has to make you a doppelganger of you just to stop the rest of the world falling to shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite the ego boost, definitely.
I mean, I feel like it won't be much of an ego boost to Nick, considering he died in Winter Soldier. But to anyone else,
well, yeah,
yeah, to his family looking on, yeah.
Nah,
but I don't know. But maybe that is what Priscilla's angle is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty there. There's plenty there, and this is the joy of this show, because the whole thing is like, don't trust anyone. Now, there's an AI opening credits, which has been discussed. We won't go over it again, but during the credits, Nick Fury's face is half Skrull.
It does. Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't notice that in the first couple of weeks, but I did notice it this week.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
So again, all right, we'll leave that there. Fury and Talos infiltrate a house, which is Royal Navy High Command. However, it's actually all Skrulls. They start shooting people, which, by the way, did they know they were Skrulls, or was Nick just happy barreling anybody right now?
I think the latter.
Yeah.
I think happy coincidence.
Yeah, it would appear to me that Nick's just like, you're in my way, you're dead.
And then, they are Skrulls. Good, tell us we can kill them.
Yeah, well, that works out well.
I knew that.
So, also, was the child a Skrull?
That was the question that I've got written down.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
Because I'm very confused by that.
Less confused than that kid's going to be if he's not a Skrull.
Yeah, but why would the guy give a crap about him if he wasn't? Because the dad was a Skrull.
Yeah, the dad was definitely a Skrull, because Gaia goes in and uses the mind thing to go back in his memories and find out what the code word would be.
And when Talos shoots him in the chest, he reverts to being a Skrull.
Yeah, so therefore, you would assume that
the kid must be, or
has he been in role for so long?
Well, or is that machine not only transferring all their memories, but an element of their connections as well?
Oh, possibly.
Kind of like, is it gonna make you emulate this person even better if you feel their emotions? Probably.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time, it just feels. To me, I was confused. I didn't get that. We'll have to see. We know that there are Skrull children. So, yeah.
So the only reason I was going down the line of it wasn't a child Skrull, was because when Talos was there trying to calm him down, would he not have turned himself back to his Skrull shape to go, look, I'm one of you, kid, calm down?
Well, one, he might not have known, and that would have, if he wasn't a Skrull, would have sent him into some sort of aneurysm.
What the?
Yeah, don't worry about it, kid. I'm like you. I'm
not you.
Yeah. Holy shit, you're green. The other thing as well is, of course, we know that naval officer has a son with that name because his password, which pre-existed in becoming a Skrull, was the child's name. So yeah, I was very confused. So either the child's human and the Skrull genuinely felt something for him, but when you're considering the goal of this group is to wipe out humanity, that doesn't seem to track.
Yeah.
Or
either way, that kid has got a messed up.
The child has also been replaced.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't get it. So there you go. That's. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the scenes. Nobody calls me Nick Bob. Felt very deliberate.
Yeah.
And made
But
me.
Rhodey called him Nick.
Yeah. Now I rewatched that scene, and I've done a TikTok for anyone who doesn't follow us yet on TikTok. Look that one up. It's a tickety tockety. He actually calls him Fury 4 times during the scene.
Yeah.
When he fires him, he calls him Nick. I don't know how relevant that is. I don't know.
Is it you're no longer important, therefore I will just call you Nick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Because in my head, I just remembered him calling him Nick. So when I rewatched it, and he's like, "Listen, Fury," and he calls him Fury like 4 times, and then fires him and goes like, "Later's Nick," almost like "Later's bitch." It felt like he was actually just being disrespectful to him rather than it being I don't know what to call you because I'm not really Rhodey, or I'm overthinking it, which is infinitely possible.
No,
I still think I'm on the secret code word.
Yeah.
Train.
Feel like Rhodey's actually surrounded by Skrulls.
Made a point.
And he's trying to get the point across. Like, I've fired you, Nick.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, let's see what happens with that. So the plan from the Skrulls is to shoot down a UN plane from the Royal Navy. An objective the Royal Navy would love to do in real life. Many of my sailor friends listening just cheered. Yay! The UN always stop us having fun. So the good old British Navy. Gaia helps Talos and he tells her to run. So it kind of confirms what we'd suspected. We were a bit like episode 1, whose side is she on? Episode 2, we were like, I'm confident she's actually still with her dad. Episode 3, 100% confirmed she is Team Talos. And there's a nice line where Talos says, you know, I think Fury says, brave girl. And it's like, yeah, you know, her mother was a great role model. Loved that.
Yeah, which is good
Really
because
loved that
in
line.
episode 4 she'll be with her mum, so you know it works out nicely.
Whoa, dude!
No?
Uncool.
He went there.
Ouch.
I thought we were just talking about what character she was with, who she was with in each episode. No, okay.
Anyway, we see her try and escape, and Gravik's waiting for her. He's like turning around. She's like, no, look at me. And, you know, you're going to face the fact that whether you're a leader of Skrulls or you're the worst enemy, and he just shoots her dead. So
I did, like, as soon as she went out the gates and she rode off with the motorbike without the lights on,
yeah,
I turned and I was like, wait for the headlights. I was like, what? I was like, wait for the headlights. And then about a second later, boom, the headlights come on. I was like, oh, she's screwed. Like, that's not common. She tries talking herself out.
I'll come to each of you in turn. Stefan, I'll start with you. Dead or alive?
Oh, now, Marvel have done what Marvel do so well. They have shown us things in the trailer that have not happened yet. And 9 times out of 10, and with anything else, I'd be like, well, she's still alive because, you know, we haven't seen that part of the trailer yet. So her telling Fury the world's on fire and it's his fault, we haven't seen that yet, so she must still be alive. However, in Infinity War, we also saw the Hulk running through Wakanda and it never happened. So I think still alive.
Okay. You really should run for politics. I asked you like a yes or no question and you monologued for an hour.
I know we're good at this.
Kaylee, dead or alive?
100% alive.
Ooh, she said that with real confidence.
That's how she just answers the question.
Yeah, she did. And because she just answered the question, Kaylee, would you like to expand and explain why you think she might be alive?
Yeah, I reckon she got hold of some of that super Skrullness. We didn't see it. She was poking around that room. I reckon that's what it is.
She got hold of the super Skrullness.
Yeah.
So there's a massive machine there, which I'm guessing they go and stand in, and it messes with their DNA, fuses them with these powers.
Yeah.
That's my assumption. You reckon?
Or she got a super secret shot or something. I don't know. Well, however it works, that is my train of thought, and that is what I'm committing to. You cannot change my mind.
My initial reaction was no way. And then I thought about it, and I thought, well, I felt that way about Agent Hill in episode 1.
Yeah.
This show, they said to us all along, it's brutal. It's going to be a gritty, cutthroat, nasty, people shot and dead. You're going to be shocked. Now,
I'm just surprised at the level of actress they got in to only do 3 episodes.
There's 2 parts to this I want to put to. So, in a press thing recently, I noticed this. She got asked about Kit Harington, who's also now in the MCU. Kit Harington, of course, plays Dane, the Black Knight. I can't think of his, yeah. Can't think of the surname. It was Dane something anyway. He was in the Eternals.
Yeah.
So say going to be in Blade if that film ever actually gets made.
I hope so.
Oh, well, they're on their 3rd script and about their 10th director now. So anyway.
Well, yeah.
And she said, "Oh yeah, but obviously, it's kind of funny because he's not really in it now, whereas I'm in it. But well, we'll have to see who's in it the most, I guess. Maybe I'm in it more now, but maybe you'll be in it more again in the future." Now, you can that's just her babbling, or it's her halfway through answering, "Well, I'm in it more," thinking, "Oh yeah, but then I'm dead, so he could come in because he's technically still alive." But I can't say I'm dead because that's a spoiler. So now, do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's very her because she does babble, and you can see her gears turning over sometimes of like, "Oh crap, I shouldn't say that."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no.
Which is possibly why they killed her off. They brought her in. Great actress. She's brilliant. Now, here's the script for the finale. Oh, good. Now, that's online. How did you do that, Amelia? Sorry. Was I not supposed to share it with a million friends? No. All right, so your character now dies. So, yeah, we can't have you and Tom Holland in the same universe. It's just going to break shit, right?
Yeah.
Poor old friggin' Tom. Oh, cracked up the other day. He's promoting this film he's done for Apple TV. And a person says to him, "Oh, I'm a massive Marvel fan. Spider-Man was always my favourite character. I just want to say thank you so much for what you've done with the films. I don't know if you're doing more." And he went, yeah, I'm back for another 6. And the guy interviewing went, "Oh, really?" And he went, "Yeah, but nobody knows that. So, oh, shit. I'm back for 4. I'm definitely doing 4. so this kid who's like interviewing him's like, "Oh, don't worry, I won't put it out." And some prick has filmed it on their phone and has put it out there.
Oh,
so,
no.
But yeah, poor
Dane
Tom.
Whitman.
You Dane Whitman, thank you.
Yeah.
But you just know somewhere he's like sat by his phone looking at it. He's got Kevin missed call. Nope. No, not yet. I am not ready to hear that noise right now.
3 missed calls from Kevin Feige, and then a random unknown number has started phoning him as well.
Yeah. And 6 text messages from Ruffalo saying, "Ha ha ha." So moving on from that. Back to this. I'm on the fence, and there's 2 things I want to say though. If she is still alive, she's a genius because she worked out she was likely going to run into trouble, and she transformed into her Skrull self when she got shot. Perhaps she was wearing a blood pack vest. You don't know. So it could be as simple as that.
Yeah, this is something I said to you in messages. I was like, if I was a Skrull, I would literally I'd hit my knee into something and bang, Skrull dead on the floor.
Yeah,
you know
I'm dead. I'm dead. Look at me, I'm dead.
I would be like the possum of all Skrulls. Like, danger, dead. Transform back.
you paint yourself such a heroic character.
I know.
I am Possum Man.
Yeah.
The lesser known, although Squirrel Girl does exist. Let's move on from that.
Thanos is coming. Dead. Transform. Lay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know when the battle's won. Yeah. So my other part is right. So Talos stabbed Gravik through the hand, and basically said, if he mentions Gaia's name to him again, you have my daughter's name in your mouth, you'll kill him.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure the version of Talos we are going to see if he has genuinely killed Gaia.
Yeah, this is what I said at the beginning of the episode. I think if she is actually dead, that was the turning point. That was the moment where all of a sudden this character goes from calm and collected to,
Well,
right, Fury, let's just wipe them out.
And Talos shoots that Skrull, and up to this point, he's been trying not to spill Skrull blood. He's been like, no, I can convert these people back, let's not kill them. He mentioned Gaia being a traitor or something, and bang, dead. Not even... He just, that's his point. That's his pressure point.
Yeah.
Everyone's got one. And the thing I like about Talos a lot is we know, when we met him in Captain America, so in the 90s, so it is 30 years ago, he was the leader of the Skrulls, and he was regarded as a tactical genius, a real warrior. Because the Kree, they hated him, but they actually they revered him, didn't they? Remember, they talked about him quite strongly as, they're led by their great general Talos, and da-da-da-da.
Yes.
I rewatched it recently, by the way, so, I'm not just that much of a nerd, it was on. So it's kind of interesting, and everyone's kind of like, you're past it, you're gone. I don't think he is. I think he just picked his side as Nick, and he says in this a lovely moment in this where it's like, why aren't you working with Gravik? It's like, 30 years, you don't know me, mate. I'm not with him because I'm with you. So it's his loyalty. It's like, I'm me and you. We're a team. I always thought we were, special. And he I think if she is dead, we're going to see him rip through people.
He's going to become the General Talos that everyone once feared and revered, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Now, on the flip side, if she's not dead, which I hope, because I've quite enjoyed her character, she's been really interesting to me, and I think would be a really interesting character going forward in the MCU, I think Talos might be dead in this series. If she's alive, I think Talos might be the next big death. That's just me throwing a prediction out there, because I don't know about anyone else, but he's the star of this show for me so far.
Oh, completely, I think, yeah.
And Olivia Colman, by the way, who's seen in this episode once again. She's brilliant.
It's such a small scene.
We didn't get enough of
genius.
her. That's my only gripe of this episode.
Her calmness and her just so British is just like she's the whole. Oh, Nicholas, whoever has this number, whoever's ringing me, you shouldn't have this number. That's how I'm answering the phone from now on. That is it. Whoever's ringing me, you shouldn't have this number. Followed by, you owe me an apology, Nicholas. And she's now renamed the owl Nick Fury and putting a little eye patch on
I love that. So good. Like, I worry for that character purely because all three of us have agreed that character's great.
Oh, she's
and that
brilliant.
Normally means if Kaylee likes a character or an actor, they're dead.
Oh, she's already identified someone in this show that she really likes, but she won't tell us in case they die.
Yeah, I haven't. I will never deny my love for Miss Coleman.
Yeah.
I just simply cannot do it. But the other
incredible.
One, zip. Not saying it.
Well, if that character does die, will you then tell us?
Yes.
Okay, great. And if we get to the end and they haven't died, obviously then as well.
Yes, of course.
See, now this is my problem, because I'm now looking at who's been in these last couple of episodes that it could be. And I'm like, I have no idea at all who this is.
They've had very minimal screen time so far.
Yeah,
that's all I shall say.
I don't think it's a famous.
It's not Fury's wife, is it?
No.
It's going to be a guy. You know what she's like. It's awful.
This is why I don't talk about The Witcher.
So,
We've had this discussion.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I invited you on that podcast and I retracted the invitation the minute you went, has Cavill got his shirt off? Do you know what? I can't handle that. No, we're not having that for a couple of hours. It's bad enough when Stefan's doing it. Anyway. Fury's wife, she gets another phone call. She leaves the house. She goes to a safety deposit box, which, by the way, is all very spy thriller, and I love that. The dead drops, which we saw earlier as well. Gaia transforming into a guy to dead drop her dad. It was just like
that was cool.
So much stuff in this, which is so good.
However, I think that scene you just mentioned with Gaia transforming into the bloke, giving him the phone and stuff.
Yeah,
I think that was the moment that Gravik realised she was the mole.
Oh, yeah, I think you're probably right.
That was the moment. Like, watching it, I was like, oh, girl, you messed up.
I think he knew, because I think he deliberately gave her the intel in the car.
Yeah.
It's a setup, 100%.
Yeah, it was a setup, and when they acted on it, because he said to her like, "Oh, if we'd shot it down, it would have been nice," but finding out who the mole was why I did it.
The goal, yeah.
And it worked. So bang, you're dead. So yeah, back to it. Fury's wife, she gets a gun out. She's there, takes another call. I want to speak to Gravik, and then it is Rhodey's voice. Yeah, well, you're speaking to me.
Yes.
So, does that confirm he's a Skrull, or does it confirm she... I mean, what does this confirm, people?
Is she undercover in the US and spying on Fury, or is Rhodey a Skrull and that's why she's contacting him? That's my two thoughts. My two thoughts are she is there spying on Nick, or Rhodey is Skrull.
Well, what's interesting is I took that completely as I want to speak to Gravik. Yeah, well, you're talking to me. As I'm your line commander. Gravik's the top. You don't speak to Gravik, you speak to me. I'm running you. And he is a Skrull. That's completely how I took it. Literally, whilst I'm sat here and we're recording this, I've suddenly heard the line again in my head. What if she's actually being contracted by the government to kill Gravik? And she's like, let me speak to him, or I want to speak to him. And Rhodey's like, no, you're speaking to me. You do your job.
Oh.
Is that like another way of looking at that, maybe? That'd
be a twist.
Kaylee, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm processing. Yes.
Because it's almost like you just changed that inflection, the way you hear it in your head, and it actually works that way as well.
Now, looking at it on how I said earlier about the whole Talos and Gravik being almost like a father-son because of they knew him from a boy, that kind of puts, is it Priscilla, his wife, as kind of like Gravik's mother sort of character.
Yeah.
So if they're hiring her to put him down,
is
it a case of, look, I want to speak to him and see, look, let me try and turn him around. Let me try and...
Well, like I said, that literally just went through my head while we were sat here. So, yeah, that's interesting. So I had one final thing in my notes, and then obviously if you guys have anything more, please jump in. But I'm going to put it to both of you because I want both your opinions on this. Stefan, I'll start with you. During this, we see a flashback to the 90s where Fury's wife, he looks a certain way. Like, do you like this face, etc. That character, then, 2023, he looks older. We know it's a Skrull the whole time.
Yep.
A Skrull can surely remain ageless because they shapeshift. So, do you think that person has... Do you think the Skrulls in this are changing constantly so they appear to age? Or do you think they're picking different personas and faces? What do you think's going on there? Am I overthinking it?
I just kind of went with she is trying to age herself to match Nick.
Yeah.
As much as it would have been lovely for Fury to be in his 60s and still married to like someone who looks like they're in their 30s.
Dude, that's not something to say. Oh, wow.
I think, as much as Nick would probably prefer that, I think she has just kept herself aging with him appropriately.
You cannot re-emphasize Nick would prefer it. Nick would do that. You're the one who just said that.
I was talking purely as Nick.
Dude. I have that on tape. And Kaylee, to you, what did you think about that? Or is it something you just not even on your radar?
Well, I hadn't really considered it, to be honest, but I think there's two facets to this. Absolutely, you kind of age in line with your partner or whoever. You don't want to cause attention to yourself. They're supposed to be hidden. Being completely ageless would probably raise a couple of flags somewhere. However, as a woman,
well,
if I had the ability to never age,
you've actually just started answering the next question I was going to ask you.
If
you were a Skrull, Kaylee, what age would you pick and stick?
I would be 27 forever.
27.
27. No, don't really think about it. 27 forever.
Yeah.
That's a very
hangovers.
specific kind of number.
Yeah.
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 No hangovers.
That was
no
clearly a good year. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, no, I think even as guys, I think we can all pick a time in our lives where we looked physically our best, and we'd go, yeah, then
23. Yeah.
23. There we go.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what? I think that's about right for me as well. Maybe, I don't know. Although at 17, I got hit by a car when drunk. I rolled over it and walked off and just had a bruise. I'm now 40 and I slept weird and I've had a bad back for 6 months.
Yeah. Definitely the younger age was better.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Happy days. But if you're a Skrull, you just sim somebody else. Like, oh, I got a bad back. Not anymore. I'm that guy. Okay. So just for fun, and hopefully this is quick fire. Right, Stefan, you're a Skrull. You can sim to become a celebrity for one day and live their life. Who would you choose?
Oh.
I don't want to know why. Just tell me who you choose, and in my head, I'll work out why.
That's really difficult.
Okay, Kaylee, do you have one?
I do. I don't know if she's classed as a celebrity.
Okay.
And I cannot remember her name.
That's not a good start. Yeah, it's like, do you have one?
She,
Absolutely, I do.
She's
But
famous for being a competitive eater. She's the little girl who eats all the hot dogs.
So, just to be clear, if you could beat anybody for a day, you'd be a little girl who eats hot dogs.
Yeah, I say she's little. She's probably in her mid-20s, but she's quite petite. And she's a competitive eater, and she can eat like 90 hot dogs in 3 minutes and never gain an ounce of weight.
Wow.
That is who I would like to be for a day.
Her husband's either really lucky or really unlucky with that. And everyone can draw their own conclusions as to why. She either gets home from work, competitive eating, and is like, yeah, if I see anything else like that today, I'm going to throw up.
Mickey Sudo is her name.
Okay, so Kaylee would be a competitive. Do you know what? I'm kind of proud of you. That's so freaking
I'm
random.
hungry. This is why.
Yeah,
If you asked me after lunch, I would have picked somebody else, but I am starving.
All right, we're going to wrap up soon so you can eat. Chill. Stefan, did you get one?
Yeah, but I'm, now that Katie's done that way, I feel bad. Mine is Robbie Arnett.
I don't know who that is.
He is a musician, singer, actor, works in music. Married to Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, God.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, I changed my answer.
I've always wanted to be able to sing.
Yeah, go on.
So
What's
to be in a
your
band.
answer now?
I changed my answer. Elsa Pataki, just for a day.
And who's Elsa Pataki?
Chris Hemsworth's wife.
There we go.
Oh, see, now
Seriously,
you've gone
I
down
do this
into
podcast
that
with
route.
two absolute horn dogs. It's ridiculous.
I can't believe you've gone down that route, Kaylee.
You're awful, both of you, pair of you, just so
I
you
said
can bang your
someone wanted to be a
celebrity
singer.
crushes.
I
Whereas
love-
I genuinely have thought about this. I put time and effort in, and I came to the conclusion that I'd become one of the world's political leaders for a day, so I could solve a load of problems. Nah, that's a lie.
Oh.
I'd be Jennifer Lawrence and just look in the mirror for 24 hours. Anyway,
I was going to say
Right.
Hayley Atwell was my next choice for the same sort of reason.
I've met her. I've met her in real life.
I know.
I've sat in a room with her, and I've never been more nervous ever. And I had to work. It was like part of a work day, and she was just sat there. Anyway, shake that off. Okay, that is it. Unless either of you have any other points you want to bring up.
No,
Nothing
I'm
from
all
me, no.
Katie's hungry, so we're
I
going to
am
wrap this
hungry.
up. Massive thank you to everybody for listening. The cough sweets got me through. This podcast was sponsored by Jakeman's. Other cough sweets are available, but I didn't have any of them, so thank you, Jakeman's. Massive thank you to everybody for listening. The continuation of sport is really kind. Like we said, if you are listening on Stitcher, Stitcher is closing. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, anywhere else that's available. You don't need to spend money. It is free. You just need to set up an account, a free account, and we are available. You
And
can still
Stitcher
get us
is-
direct from the website.
Stitcher is definitely closing, right? This isn't like some weird way of you trying to make money out of telling people. No, just checking, because, you were accused of that.
So I'm going to bring that up because I was thinking he was actually quite nice when he messaged again later on.
He did come back and apologise. So fair play to him. He came back and apologised.
Yeah.
But that first email had me in tears.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on quickly. If you listen to the Christmas show, we got some crackers again this year.
Oh, yeah.
For feedback. We get,
yeah.
Oh, terrifying.
It is really
We're
bad
only
this
halfway
year.
through the year, and the second half of the year is going to be busier.
Yeah. We've had some stuff. Anyway, so massive thank you again. We will be back next week to discuss episode 4. Until then, everybody, you all take care. Stefan, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Goodbye, lovely people, and everyone else.
Kaylee, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.